I'm Allie. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melisa, and I have 2 kids, and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles.
We're alive and well today
We
after
are.
a bit of a night last night. Although we kept it pretty tame.
We did keep it tame, but Robin today texted me that she's like, you kind of insinuating I'd had too much to drink. And I hadn't. I'm like, that's just my personality.
That's just me.
Because I really hadn't. I mean, the pours, we went to a wine stroll. The pours were so tiny and I was sharing it with somebody. So it's like every sip was like a half a sip.
I mean, I didn't partake in the wine part. I just
Oh, I know
went to
what
the
we
gas
did.
station
I
and
know.
bought a 40-ounce beer.
I was right there with you, my friend. Partly because I don't want to drink all that wine. It makes me sick as hell.
Same. Yeah. Like to be drinking white wine and red wine, I would have been so sick.
You and I walking
So-
around with those huge beers.
That was
It's next
hilarious.
level. I think you might be converting me.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, like,
to the
I
Miller
noticed-
Lite side.
I can't believe it. Like, they're in my fridge now all the time because of you. And so I end up just like drinking one. And I realize they are like kind of refreshing. There's a little bit of a spike to it that's like, I don't know. I do kind of like it.
See, it's mostly water, right? So
I guess that's what I need though, right?
it is. Well, that's just it. It's like a good way. Like if you want to hang out and drink and like, I don't know, hanging out for hours on end and drinking vodka all night, I'm gonna not have any memories after a certain
I
point.
know. And I do want to be hydrated, but then beer like bloats you. It's like there's no
And
good.
it does bloat big
Yeah.
time. That part sucks.
I was thinking too, like, I was just in New York and everybody obviously there smokes pot. Like it's just on the street, like normal people, everybody's smoking. Like you walk through just like constantly smelling weed and then it'll like clear for a minute and then you'll smell weed again. And I'm realizing, and then at that time while I was there, somebody sent me this post that was like, are you sick? Smoke weed. Are you down? Smoke weed. Do you have knee pain? Smoke weed. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh
weed,
my
weed.
God.
And I was thinking like, it is kind of a better alternative to drinking.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
if you don't
although
smoke it-
smoking it,
Yeah,
is
no,
pretty
but if you
unhealthy
eat
for your
it-
lungs. But yeah, the gummies and stuff.
Right. So
As
I'm
long as you don't
sort
get too high and like eat a whole pizza.
no, yeah, that would be no good. But would that's still better than the alternative?
Oh, yeah. Drinking a ton of beers
Yeah.
for sure.
So it's like you do that, but I don't know what's wrong with me. But I like while I was there, I tried to do it and I never feel high. Like I never feel the feeling that like the people around me are feeling.
Are you Bill Clintoning? You're
Maybe I might be Bill Clintoning, but I'm trying as hard as I can. It can't be this hard if these people do
Trying as hard as
it.
it can.
I do the thing where I'm coughing. I'm like,
okay. Oh. But
User
also, I mean,
error.
it is kind of one of those things that you do have to like gauge and make sure they're not doing too much of, because if you do too much, you're going to be kind of screwed. And it's like, how do I form sentences right now? Like
is
words
it
are
that
hard.
bad? Like, can you get to that point with pot?
Yeah,
Mm.
especially if a gummy.
I feel like my issue is that I don't get the feeling of like fun. I get the feeling of like a little bit cloudy headed. And to me,
Yeah.
like, that's not like, is that fun to feel that way? Like, I don't get
I know.
the thing.
Well, and I
Like,
think about
I'm-
that too. I'm like, God, I feel really silly right now. Like
Yeah.
I'm laughing at like really dumb things,
I
and
can't
then I have
control
to try to
it.
explain the dumb thing. And it's like,
That part's
last
funny.
night I thought that Lindsay said that she was talking to my mom, like the old dear mom joke, like, yeah, I was talking to your mom.
I thought I saw you in my kitchen, like laughing at something so dumb.
That was it.
That was it.
And trying to explain it, like what I heard.
That's hilarious. And she's like
Talking
not
to your
smoking
mom.
at all. So she's like looking at you like you're
right,
a moron.
exactly.
That's really, really funny.
But yeah, all in all, last night I had a blast, and it just is, as the weeks kind of go on, the more I'm realizing like, man, we've really done such good work with being like, seeing as we're entering this singlehood that we were both like terrified
I know we
about.
were. What were we? We were so scared.
We were so scared.
Yeah.
And like, we've met so many cool people the past few months, and like everybody just gets along well and vibes well,
I
and
agree. There's no
It's all
drama.
friendly.
It's yeah. If there's zero drama, there's no issue. I felt the same way last night. I looked around and I thought, first of all, we're a big group. A couple things. We're a big group, but there's like pockets of us hanging out all over that event. And so it was like
Hmm.
very easy to just walk around and like pop into different groups because we know like I feel like we've gotten to know these women over the last months, years, whatever. But then also, how lucky are we that like if we have to go through this horrible thing, we are both doing it at the exact same time.
I know. Yeah.
Like, what
And
is
we've got
that?
Christine in the mix
I
too. Like
know.
the
Like,
three of us have just been like, it's, I hate to say it's timed correctly, but it's
yeah,
kind of timed
it's
correctly.
totally timed correctly. And there's a few more now that are in the mix. Like, it also gives
Yeah.
you hope of like, there become people become available. Like it's like, you see all these couples and you're not that you don't want people to break up, but sometimes people are just in a season of learning and in a season of
Hmm.
building to become the 2.0 that they're going to become. And they just haven't
Yeah.
gotten there yet. I know I feel that way about myself. Like I'm so much different now. Like there's so many lessons I had to learn.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that today because I was like, man, like someone had messaged me and they're like, Allie's out that late. And
Ah,
it's like,
what? Who
yes,
was it?
Allie
Who was
is
it?
like having a blast lately. And like, I
Allie
just
was
love
out
it
till
for you
10:30.
though.
Let's all take a big deep breath. I was out till 10:30.
You are, and you're the queen of the Irish goodbye.
I'm the
That is
queen of
for
the Irish
sure.
goodbye. That's because I know you guys won't let me leave.
I know. It's
But
like
wait,
all of a sudden everybody's like, "Where'd Allie go?"
if they saw my setup
But
of the bed, if they saw my bedroom and they saw the setup, I think they would be like acknowledged.
yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about my room. I'm
Yeah.
like,
I
this is
mean,
nice,
it's really nice. Like,
nice and dark, and like,
yeah, the TV
you
is
know,
perfect position.
I had
My
the option to
robe.
stay at your place last night, which is
I
lovely. I love
know. Yeah.
staying
What the
there,
hell?
but it was kind of nice to go
Hell
home
yeah, it
last
is. You
night, even
can't,
though it was a long drive.
there's
But
nowhere better. But if you do have to stay in Atlanta, I do have a nice little room for you.
yeah, totally.
Do you know
I
that
just
before you all stayed there last weekend, I restocked. I made sure you had body soap and like hand soap. I put a towel in there. I'm like, they probably
really,
didn't
and then
even
we
notice.
bounced
They're
like
like,
super early.
exactly, exactly. I just didn't know
I
what
had
you
to
were gonna.
go freeze my ass off in a lake
I know
for
what
my
the
final
hell.
wake surfing lesson. God, it was so fucking cold. I almost backed out. Um, but again, I'm glad I went. I got to take my daughter with me. That was amazing.
I know. Isn't
Like,
it fun to have your kids see you do cool shit?
yeah, and watch them try something like really
Yeah. Oh,
tough.
did she try it too? Oh,
Yeah,
it's
she
fucking
got up.
amazing. Oh, that's so cool.
Um, and I'm like out there, I'm watching her and I'm trying not to like intervene too much. I'm trying to
Yeah,
let the instructors do their
I know,
thing.
right?
But meanwhile, I'm like watching her literally like have waves of water go over her head, like 'cause she's not standing up yet. And I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna jump out of this thing like
Yeah,
any moment and be like, I'm done.
yeah.
But she stuck with it and she did it two different rounds. And the second round, the boat driver actually realized like how smooth it was and like more even. And so she was like, let's get Kaylin back out and give her another shot while we have calm
Smooth water.
conditions. And Kaylin
Yeah,
popped right up.
that's amazing.
Stayed up
Yeah.
for like a few seconds. She's still mastering that part, but it was so cool. And it's like for me, that was a little bit, we've been talking about healing your inner child. That was a
Yeah.
little bit for me,
Yes.
like watching her do that. Because I was
Yes.
like, this is
Taking
the
care
stuff
of
I
my own.
wanted to
Right.
do as a kid.
And, or just taking care of my child feels like, I don't know, like it's this chance for me to like redo the past. Kind of like you said last week when you go in therapy, you said you sometimes can look back, I forget what you called it, and like be that little child again.
Oh yeah. The inner child
Inner child
meditation.
meditation. But it is like part of that, I think, is like taking care of my own child when she has a need or he has a need.
Yeah.
It just feels like I'm healing myself.
That's so true. Like, and just to think about like, not, and I'll preface this with the fact that anytime I was sick, my parents took very good care of me. That's for sure. But, like Kaylin got sick in the middle of the night the other night. Brecken had a nosebleed on another night. And it's like, rather than like being like, oh man, I got
God
to
damn
do
it.
all this,
Yeah.
like, damn it, like this is interrupting my sleep, all this stuff. I've got to clean up. Like,
Yeah. And 2
and
a.m. Yeah.
yeah. And it's just like, I just take it as it is,
Right.
I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to have a clean bed again, like just kind of take it one step at a time. It doesn't all have to be solved in that moment. I get to go back to bed. I can take care of the rest of the morning.
Yeah.
But to give them that solid space of not feeling like, oh my God, you're sick. Like, come on. And you couldn't make it to the bathroom, any of that stuff. Like,
and like like when, as you say that, I'm thinking about when I used to throw up when I was little in the middle of the night. I used to be so excited because I knew I got to stay home the next day. So not only is it like you got the attention of your parents and it's like they're rubbing your forehead. Now on top of that, I know I got a free day the next day.
You're totally out of school.
Exactly.
And it's what's funny, or not funny, this is actually kind of really quite sad, but our middle school has been dealing with a lot of these threats that are happening.
Oh, yeah.
Weekly.
Yep.
And that was a specific date the other day, the day that Kaylin missed school. And I like wanted to, I sent an email to her homeroom teacher and was just like, she's out sick, like legit sick. I'm not keeping her home because of the threat. Like, because I don't want to buy into it.
Yeah.
You know? Like these kids just want to get out of school.
Right.
And I know that there's going to be like extra security at the school. I honestly feel safer sending her on those days. And then the homeroom teacher wrote me back and she's like, I thank you for letting me know, but can you send in a note tomorrow? So I have to handwrite a note in my shitty handwriting as to why she was out. And then I started to write, it wasn't because of the school threat, but my handwriting's so bad. I was worried it was going to be like misinterpreted. And it's
like, oh my God.
Kaylin's doing a school threat.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Well, wait,
expelled.
Why do you have to write a note? Like what?
I don't know. Like I didn't do that all through elementary school, but I knew I needed to like at least let them know so she had an excused absence.
Okay.
But then the teacher said I had to write an actual note, and then Kaylin said she had to take it to the office to like prove it.
Okay.
But it's also like, I mean, it looks like it was written by a 12-year-old.
I know, but you know what they say about people my handwriting's fucking terrible. No one can read it. But they say that it's because, I'm not bragging, but I'm telling you, it means that you're intelligent. Like it means your brain is working so fast, your hands can't keep up with it. I swear to God. That's why they say doctors, high-level scientists, they all have shitty handwriting.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Like because that's how I feel when I'm writing. Yeah. It's like I am thinking faster than I'm writing.
It's a sign of intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it.
Take them where you can get them. Take the wins where you can get them. So I think we need to get into what we're talking about today, which is Melissa's new bromance.
Exactly. I got bros now. It is so funny to me. God, like
Melissa's not hanging out with the moms anymore. She's with the dads.
You know, my son had a play date and I was anticipating it being a mom that was going to show up, and then last minute I get a text that says the dad's coming.
Oh, the dreaded dad.
And I was like, oh no, like, and we're going to the pool, you know?
Oh God.
So it's like, I kind of have to sit there and talk to the dad.
Why does the dad have to come? I know it's all has a happy ending, but I'm curious why. Like I have this thing where
why not just drop off the kid?
Yeah, like if I invite your kid over, why are you here? I didn't invite you, Amanda.
It was partly because we were swimming. Like maybe I didn't really notice anything where the kid didn't know how to swim that well, but maybe just like safety reasons. It's their only child too. So I think that
says it all. That says it all.
And I guess if my kid wasn't like a strong swimmer, I would prefer to be the one that's keeping an eye on them.
But then wouldn't you just be like, let me take like anytime somebody comes over to my house with their kid and I see them start to get out of their car, I literally am like, God damn it. I literally will look out there. I'll hide. I'm like, do not come up here. Why are you walking up to my door right now?
Yeah.
Like stay in your fucking car.
You gonna look in my house real quick to make sure I don't have like a torture chamber in the back.
Right. You know? But it's just like, dude, your kid is 10. They can walk to the freaking door.
Yeah. Kaylin just had a play date. The kid came up by herself.
Of course.
The mom texted me when she got here.
Of course.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm like, great.
We don't need to do a whole thing.
A plus.
Exactly. I look at you in your car and we're acknowledge each other. Get out of here.
Right.
Okay. So bromance didn't do that.
But bromance, you know, like I said, I think he wanted to keep an eye on the kid. It's understandable.
Okay. So he shows up in his swim trunks.
Yes. And then on top of that, the pool, the kids are telling me it's too cold because I wanted to swim with them, but they were like, it's so cold. It's so cold. So anyway, I sit here and talk to this guy for, God, a couple hours, but it turns out like he was cool. Like we had a good conversation.
Yeah.
Had like some stuff in common. Like
he's joining our book club.
Right. Exactly.
Tell them the story though, that he like, what he said to you.
This is where I was like so embarrassed. And I get just, I don't know, I get weird around like straight people, and especially straight people around Peachtree City. Like it's almost just like the problem is me,
Yeah.
right? I'm the one
I'm the
that's like
problem.
looking
It's
at
me.
myself being like, oh no, they're gonna
Yeah.
like feel weird
That
around me.
heteronormative training that you've had all these years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
know I'm the odd man out
right.
majority of the time.
Right.
And I also am showing up to a lot of things like alone, you know?
Okay. So dude shows up.
Dude shows up, we're hanging out, and like we're just making casual conversation, whatever. And he asked me if I was remarried. Like he knew already about like I was divorced and like the whole situation. Like most people know our story around here and are very like supportive, like think it's great. Like,
yeah.
But I like stumble in that moment when he asked me if I was
shameful.
remarried. And I'm like, well, I date women. And he looks at me, he goes, I know.
And then nothing, just silence.
Yeah. And then he goes, you can still be remarried.
Oh, he called
like,
you out
damn.
on your shit. I mean, it was such a flex.
Right?
He's like, I'm more liberal than you.
Exactly. Exactly. My straight man is right.
Oh, no.
But then I was like, well, yeah, you're right. 100%. I was like, I did just get out of a relationship kind of recently, so it's a little fresh.
You're like, sorry, I'm so awkward.
Yeah. I was like, I just don't know how to answer questions right now.
No.
But yeah, he was sweet about it. And it made me think like, God, I'm making too big of a deal about this.
I know.
But it was also kind of like, I could have just said like, no, but I'm dating now, and not said anything about being gay. But it was like, I felt like I had to say the gay part.
Did it disarm you after that, or almost make it worse, because it's like he just let you know something? So he was almost like teaching you a lesson in real time.
Well, I was kind of like, I wanted to be like, how do you know?
Yeah.
But I guess it's maybe one of those things that a lot of people do know, knowing our story and that we're divorced and co-parenting and all that stuff.
Right.
So, because I have a lot of people that I like really barely know. If I'm like at the kids' school, they'll come up to me and just be like, I just want to say I really love like your family situation. Like you guys are killing it. It's so impressive.
How can I do that too?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me how I can do that too.
Have you written a book?
Exactly. Okay, so you end up having a lovely time with your new friend.
Yes.
He's very cool. Yeah, which kind of leads us to the next conversation, which is that sometimes, this isn't everybody, but you come out and you start off sort of or like you almost like are the exact same person you were in your marriage, but it's like as you go through these relationships, you start to become more who you actually are, or just what you're comfortable in, to your point. And maybe like having guy friends is kind of nice to you. I mean, I heard you talk about that night you met the dude at the bar and you ended up talking to him. Like, yeah, it's like you're kind of sometimes one of the guys.
I know. Yeah, how weird is that?
And that would have never happened before.
It is kind of like, I almost feel like I've shut down, or I had shut down men like completely.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Right.
And almost not seen them as like deep humans anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's interesting. I agree.
But now I'm
see
saying
that.
like, oh no, like they still are. And now it kind of almost gives me a little bit of answers as to why I was in that heteronormative, because I do really get along with them. And a lot of the times it would feel like I was having a little bit more genuine conversation with a man than I was with a woman.
I'm not there yet.
I'm saying like when I was dating men, I would feel that way. I'd feel a little bit more connected to a man, like just hanging out and talking, a little bit more like honest, I guess.
Okay.
Like girls sometimes felt a little like competitive.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, all that to say, it is kind of nice to be like a little bit more open to just like hanging out with men and knowing like nothing's happening here.
No, like we can just be exactly what we are.
Right. And they're not trying to hit on me or change anything about that, nothing like that. So I don't know. It's just kind of nice to have like
it's kind of like the conversation we had about how you do sometimes in different relationships. And I'm going through this right now a little bit where I feel more, I'm still femme. I'm still the same girl. I'm still going to wear girl. I still dress that way, but there is a part of me that feels more I'm showing up in a more masculine way in situations I wouldn't have before necessarily, or even like in certain circumstances, I feel more, I don't even know. I can't even describe it. It's inside me, but it's just like this boy energy. Yeah. And I wonder sometimes if it's like when you're with a partner that is very and mine wasn't, but more mask than me, it does kind of push you into these situations. And I think hanging out with that guy and having it end up being this like cool friendship, pseudo friendship, is another kind of sign of that. It's like you're coming into this more in a masculine way. Like, I don't know that you would have done that 2 years ago.
No. And like also kind of seeing that, like, as far as clothing goes, presentation, it's such a balance, you know? And there's some, like, for instance, there's an outfit that I'm thinking about wearing like Pride weekend, and it's this vest that looks really feminine. And I'm kind of been torn on it every time I put it on because I'm like, God, this looks really girly. Like I like it though.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, who cares if I want to wear that though? Like I like it.
Yeah.
And while it may not fit that like masculine persona, it doesn't mean I still can't like wear it and pair it with something that's like a maybe like masculine shoes, you know?
Yeah.
Like wear it with boots instead.
Right. There's like a million ways to do it.
I've done the same thing with like wearing when I go to weddings, like I'll wear a suit jacket, but then I have on heels.
Right.
So it's like this mix of both, and it is like ever evolving.
Yeah, it's ever evolving. And it changes day to day. I mean, there's times like when I was in New York, like I feel like I looked very gay. I mean, I had on like baggy jeans, a t-shirt, I had on tennis shoes. Can you believe it? And like a jean jacket. I mean, and Tatum is like a very eccentric dresser. So she was just like, oh my God, I love that outfit you're wearing. And I would have never normally worn it, but it was just like what I had in my suitcase. But I felt good in it.
I think too, there's this really strong misconception that over the age of 40, you're not wearing anything that's like current styles. You know, a lot of people have the same wardrobe that they've owned for 10 years and they haven't changed a thing. And I think they have that feeling of like, well, I'm over 40. I can't wear the stuff that's like kind of trendy
Totally
right now.
disagree.
And yeah, it's like, no, you can.
Yeah.
Like, and you pull it off.
And it doesn't even mean that it has to be, I mean, you can wear, like, I also think there's like a utilitarian style that I love, which is just like you buy really quality stuff and you wear, you know, if you look in my closet, you've said this, there's not a lot in there. It's pretty basic. I have a lot of white t-shirts. I have a lot of gray t-shirts. I have a lot of black t-shirts. I have a lot of pairs of jeans and I have jackets. But it's not like all this shit from 20 years. Yeah, mine's not. I keep it, I purge a ton and I wear the same utilitarian clothes, like things that are comfortable and
stop
quality.
Myself from buying the same thing.
Like,
I have like a few t-shirts that have skulls on them. I'm like way into skulls. And then I started to buy another one the other day and I'm like, what am I doing?
Why am I doing this? I've got
every day. Like, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, that's really funny. I love that though. But you must like it. Like I'm a white t-shirt. I love a white t-shirt. I love it. So it's like if I find one that feels good with jeans, I am buying it. And I might have 20 of them. But they all serve a different purpose. I'm sure people think I'm wearing the same thing. I'm not. But do you ever worry too? Like sometimes I was getting ready yesterday and somebody was here and I was like, did I wear this the last time?
I think about
like I can't remember. Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, do I remember what anyone else wore?
No,
I
I never do.
So I try not to like worry about it that much.
The issue is our group takes 1,000 photos. So it's like, it's going to be in the photos that I wore it 10 times.
Right. We had some good pictures. That's for sure.
We did. You and I had a special picture moment.
That's one of my favorite pictures on the planet.
Really?
Like, it's just so, it encapsulates a lot of Atlanta, I feel like.
Yeah, it really does. The Valero,
We've got
especially.
Atlanta police behind us.
Atlanta police.
As if we care.
Yep. Atlanta police at the Valero.
Right?
Some shit has gone down at that Valero, let me tell you.
Really?
Yes. Let me ask you your opinion though on that theory that like maybe as you come out of a relationship where you're the femme side and they're the more masculine side, if maybe there is like subconsciously this feeling of like, I need this protection from this person that is masked, like it almost like mimics your hetero life. And then as you progress, sometimes maybe that doesn't feel as like necessary anymore. Do you think there's any validity to that, or do you think it's all just like fluid and you might like one person?
I think it's kind of fluid. And I think, I think sometimes it's like you're saying, it's kind of influenced by the person that you're with.
Yeah.
Because if I really sit back and think about my last relationship and when we started dating, I was like a mix of mask femme but probably more so femme, I guess, depending on the day. And I feel like over the past couple years, I've leaned more into the masculine side a
Right.
lot more. And it's almost like because of that relationship, because of that person being like, oh, I really like that outfit, that kind of stuff,
Yeah, it just like fueled the fire of like now I became right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. And you
So
liked it
maybe,
too. You felt good in it.
but that's
So it's
just it. I
yeah.
liked it too. And I've kind of like continued with it. It's not like we broke up and I was like, well, let me get out my dresses.
Yeah. 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 Tatum told me in New York, she's like, there's a serious shortage of mask women. Like
I keep
all
hearing
the
this and I don't
yeah,
believe
she's
it.
like, there's a total shortage. Everybody's
I
femme.
feel like there's a shortage of femme women.
I know. That's what I told her, but she's like, well, not here.
Well, she's also looking at a different age bracket.
Valid, but why would it be any different?
I don't know, but
And
I feel
isn't
like
it
there's a lot of
interesting?
mass
Do you
husbands.
remember that when we all first came out? Like I remember being in group and everyone when we had a group session where we talked about like how do you know someone's gay and da 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 da. And
Yeah.
almost everybody said they were attracted to feminine. It was like the whole room I remember being like, "Oh, I want." They were, I think, picturing like the
Yeah.
L bet on the L word. Like, I want to meet this
hmm
woman who's like classy and feminine and drinks wine. And like, I remember that being like a common theme. And then it's like now that we're all kind of out there in the world and I'm watching who people end up with, even if temporarily, who do you date? Who do you end up with? It hasn't really played out that way.
Yeah.
And it's almost like their taste evolved.
Well, and I think that's probably the easiest to be attracted to. I would say either super femme or super mask is like
Yeah.
the easiest to be attracted to. But then I hear of people that it's kind of like, that one person is the one that kind of gets them thinking anyway
Yeah.
about like their sexuality. And it could be that super mask lesbian that, works at Target, or it could be the bet type,
Yeah.
or it could be someone who's like in the middle,
Or just somebody, yeah, who makes you feel some kind of way. It's like, I
or the
think,
police officer that pulls you over and is
yeah, I'm saying, like,
super
even, I mean, my
masculine.
catalyst was very mask, but I think about like, there was this woman before her when I was married, I had little babies that I would go to the dog park and she was pretty mask and she was like an older lesbian. And I remember like feeling almost like she intrigued me. Like I loved it when she was there and I could like walk with her, but I was also like equal parts intrigued and not ashamed is the wrong word, but it was almost like I didn't want her to get too close to me because it
Mm.
was like there was some kind of connection or like I
Oh, you
wanted
felt
to
like
I
a
felt like a
little
draw to
something
her, yeah,
that you
and
were scared of.
scared of, and so it made me
Yeah.
like not want to be around her.
Mm.
But even though I was like excited if she was there,
But I feel like in a lot of those situations, if we really like zoom out and look at the super masculine woman and the super femme woman, both of them have confidence
that's all it
to be
is. I
like
know,
exactly who they are,
yeah, and
not
that
give
is what
a fuck.
attracts me.
Yeah,
It's like I
totally.
confidence. It doesn't even really matter mask, femme, little, big, like in all that goes away. Like you could put two people in front of me, one that's completely gorgeous, but not, but lacking smart, gorgeous, but lacking confidence. And then someone who's average, but confident. I will always
hmm
go to confident. Like
Yeah.
it just feels safer.
There's a lot that could be said by like having the confidence to know who you are and to dress a way that reflects that
Mhm.
and not give a shit.
And not give a shit.
And a lot of those women too, like the femme women, like I'm gonna go back to Bet as an example, just because I think that's a great one. It's the fact that she's not dressing for men either.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah. And there is an air about her of like, I would have known she was gay, likely.
Yeah, just by the how she walks.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a total badass with confidence.
The gay walk. Were you there that night? I don't think you were, but a bunch of us did like our walk, like to
A
walk and
runway
see who
walk?
walks the gayest.
Who walks the gayest? Probably
I
you.
think I was in the top.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Who walks the least gay?
I want to say it was Jessica.
Okay.
Um,
Jessica.
mhm,
Wait,
Jessica.
Jess?
No,
Oh
no, no, no,
no,
not
Jessica.
Jess.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Um,
Jessica.
okay, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, she doesn't walk very gay.
Yeah.
What is a gay walk?
Me?
Okay, just kind of like dum
I don't
dum dum.
know.
If it
Is
made
that
noise,
how
it
I
would go like
sound?
that.
I'm actually pretty light-footed though for as gay as I walk.
Okay.
I used to walk around the house like Bigfoot. Like he could
Really?
hear me coming, but
What's
I don't walk
changed?
like that anymore.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, because I realized I'm like, damn, I am stomping through the house.
I'm thumping through the house. Oh my God. That's hilarious. No, I've
The
never
house
noticed
is
that you walk
shaking.
gay or don't walk gay.
Really?
No.
Oh, now you're gonna look.
I think I walk super normal. Like there's no gay or straight.
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty normal.
Yeah. I like to
Um,
think I'm in the middle of everything. I don't go either way too far.
my last girlfriend told me that she liked the way I walked, and I was like, this is how I know that you're really into me because
because
like how do you
how I
like
walk has never been my
the
strong suit.
exactly.
I like the way you
Like
walk.
this is something my mom has ridiculed me about for years. So
Wow.
can we call her right now,
I know,
please?
exactly. That's hilarious. I want to bring up one final topic that I heard people talking about last night that I think is just interesting, but they were talking about the difference. This is totally off subject, but the difference between attachment and connection. And that it's very easy to get those two things confused. And I think in the state that you and I are in right now, I think it's like kind of an interesting thing to acknowledge that you can be very attached to somebody and have literally no connection to them at all. And it's kind of like attachment can be a recipe for not the healthiest place to be. And so it's really like what you strive for is connection with people. And I was thinking about that in my relationship at the end. I was very attached. We'd been together a long time. We lived together. I was extremely attached, but the connection was gone. And so it's like it took a long time, though, to walk away because I'm attached. Like, I can't even imagine. I think you can relate to that too.
Yeah. And I think yeah, because it's like despite everything that was kind of falling apart, I still felt attached. It still felt like home.
Yeah. Comfortable,
But
safe.
yeah, but not safe.
Not safe.
Though.
I know. That's
Not
interesting.
safe anymore.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting connection that I made. Like even though something feels like home isn't always safe.
No.
And it's like, ugh, that sucks.
I know. And maybe
true.
it's not. I think a lot of people, though, stay because of attachment versus
connection. Yeah.
and like learning to identify.
It's the history that you're staying with.
And it doesn't
We've
matter.
been in it this long. We might as well stay in it.
And what's a normal level of conflict? Like, I don't, to me, it's like also that's kind of a gray area. Like, what is normal? I mean, I think I was kind of fed that it's not, I don't know, that like our conflict level wasn't that abnormal. But to me, it felt like a lack of peace a lot of the time. Like my nervous system was on fire because it's just like I need to relax. Like I'm worried all the time. Like I'm worried about the nightmare of losing you. And then it was, but then it's just like, that's not connection.
No.
And so it's just like, I thought about when they were, it was a therapist talking about this, it like really hit me. And I thought people should really ask themselves, how do they see the relationship they're in? And then also, how can you cultivate connection with your partner to try to build that connection? So it's not just attachment.
Yeah. And I think that's easy. Attachment is easy to keep. Connection is not easy to keep.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's like you do have to work towards it. You have to have, I think you have to have like date nights and time to just
I mean, have you ever
like,
heard that saying, it's easy to fall in love, it's hard to stay in love?
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's like,
and when someone is putting more and more distance between you, that connection goes away.
Yes. Until you wake up and you're like, I'm living with a stranger. I'm attached to this person, but I don't know them anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I don't know, like if you can safeguard your relationship and not, we talk all the time about, oh, you're anxiously attached, you're securely attached. Well, maybe even like, yeah, that's interesting. But like also, how are you connected? What is that?
Yeah.
Say more about that, because I think that's what's going to keep you together through thick and thin. And I met a couple last night. They've been together 21 years. And they were so cool. They live in the neighborhood. They live one street over from me. And I thought, I literally said to them, I was like, God, I love meeting lesbian couples that have been together that long, because I definitely.
Did I meet them?
They're Mandy's friends.
I don't think I met them.
They were lovely. And I just kept thinking like that's what I like. I'm looking for that. Like I'm looking
we should
for.
have on.
I know. And they can tell us why it works and how do they do it?
How do you do this?
Yeah. How do you do this? They stay connected. I'm sure. I'm sure how they do it is connection. That's my 2 cents.
I like it.
Okay.
True.
We're a little tired today, I see.
I know. I am tired. And it's like 5:00. I don't know what I'm feeding my kids for dinner.
Really? Do you know
I
what?
wanted to take them out to dinner, but my son doesn't want to go.
I hate going out. Can I tell you though that speaking of being more like in my masculine energy, I am alone, and this is kind of thanks to you, I think. I am once again firing up the grill, and I'm grilling for Reed and I. It's just the two of us. We're gonna have grill. We're gonna grill vegetables. We're gonna grill steaks. We're gonna like have a night. And I wouldn't have done that. There's zero chance I would have been out there with the grill, lighting the grill, doing anything with the grill.
I love it.
Even 6 months ago.
Look at you.
Right?
The masculine woman.
Yeah. Happening. It's all happening, guys.
I love it.
All right, my friend. Well, enjoy the rest of your night.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandallie@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Allie, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.